guys, it's Cam from JFC Exotics here, and today I will be doing a video showing you my Leopard Gecko care and setup. Now, what I'm about to show you isn't the only way you can do it. There are a lot of ways you can care for Leopard Geckos. This is just the way I've been doing it, and the way that I know a lot of people do it in the hobby. So I'll be showing you how I'm looking after my Leopard Gecko and her setup. But before I get into that, I'd just like to say my channel name / business / social media, whatever you want to call it, name has now changed on every social media. We do have a new email, which is jfsimexotics@gmail.com. Our Twitter, Facebook and YouTube name has now been updated. If you do notice anything that hasn't been updated, please feel free to comment in the section below so I can get that changed. And if you haven't, please go and like my Facebook page. It's only just been started up again because I started one a while ago and then I shut it down and I've started a new one. So if that is where I'll mainly be doing my posts on Facebook. But now we'll get into the video. And like I said, there are many ways to care and set up Leopard Geckos. This is just the way I've been doing it. But hopefully you enjoy and learn something from this video. So we'll get straight into it now. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about is the enclosure size. Now, for her at the moment, she's about 25 grams. I have got her set up in a 24.5 litre rub. Now, she will not be going into another rub. Her next upgrade will be into a 3-foot vivarium, which she will have her entire life. But this is just what I'm keeping her in. You can keep Leopard Geckos in, especially hatchlings and juveniles, in smaller enclosures. But in my opinion, bigger the better. So I went for this one. Now this, as you can see, she has a lot of space to run. If I can find her somewhere, you will be able to tell how big she is in comparison to the enclosure. There she is. So as you can see, she has a lot of space to move around in here. This is, if I can give you a little pan view, or you can see all the enclosure, she has a lot of space to move. Now, this is Citrus. She's my Hibino Leopard Gecko, Tremper albino. But this is her enclosure, and that is how big I would recommend your enclosure. I don't know the exact measurements, but anyone in the UK will know how big this is. Next, we're going to move on to things you should have in the enclosure. Okay, so in the enclosure, I have 3 hides, here, here, and here. I went for 3 different types of hide instead of the same 3 to make the enclosure a bit more interesting. Over here we have an Exoterra medium cave. Here we have an Exoterra gecko cave medium. And over here we have a Komodo reptile den. This bridge is purely just for a bit of stimulation in the cage. And over here we have food and water balls that we'll move on to in a bit. And now this is her cool hide. This is her warm hide. And this is her moist hide, which has just got some sphagnum moss in it. Like I said, this bridge is just for stimulation, a place for her to climb, and it's actually where she poos. This is where she goes every time, which is why usually I'll have a piece of paper towel so I don't have to get it out from in between the wood. That is quite a good thing about Leopard Geckos. They always go in the same place, or they mostly go in the same place, meaning that you can just have one piece of paper towel that you need to change every day. But that's for what goes in the enclosure. You can have additional things, such as, plants, maybe some more climbing material, as they will climb quite well, and they are pretty good climbers. So that's all I have in the enclosure. Now we'll move on to substrates. Okay, so I've just zoomed you in on my substrate here. This is actually just a paper towel that I just got from a supermarket. It was about £3, so about $5 for a huge roll of this Blitz toilet roll, no, kitchen roll. And I really like the Blitz one because it's bigger than normal kitchen roll, and it's very tough. It doesn't break away easily, and it doesn't rip very easily. It's a very tough substrate. It's a very tough kitchen roll, which is why I like it. It's also super absorbent, and it's what a lot of people tend to use. I know definitely in the UK when they use a kitchen roll. However, when she moves into a vivarium, I will be switching her to this Repti carpet. I had ordered 2 bits of it. These 2 are way too small, so they'll probably never be used. Well, not in the near future, because I was going to put it in this one, but then it turns out I ordered the wrong size, so it doesn't really matter. Now, when choosing a substrate for your leopard gecko, I think it's important to know that a lot of people don't like loose substrates. Now, in all the research I've done, and I've asked a lot of people about this, impaction only occurs in leopard geckos or bearded dragons or most lizards down to poor husbandry. If you're providing the right heat spot and the right minerals and the right vitamins, even if your leopard gecko intakes some sand, some eco-earth, it's not going to cause any problems. It's when you don't have a good digestive place, a good basking place, you're not having the calcium in there, or the vitamins, that's when you start to get problems. I personally won't be using sand or anything like that, just because it's very messy. I will be using Repticarpet as it's very easy to clean, but I'll make a separate leopard gecko substrate video in the future where I cover a lot. But now we're going to move on to feeding and water and how I'm doing that. Okay, so here you can see my feeding bowl and my water bowl, and also here I have a little Pepsi Max lid. I think it is. If I can get it up without. But yeah, there you can see Pepsi. Just a little Pepsi Max of calcium. I'll show you all the vitamins I use. So in that little lid, I just use Ectoterra's plain calcium. And then my feeding schedule with leopard geckos is I'll do one day with nothing on the mealworms, the next day with calcium plus D3, the day after with multivitamin, the day after with nothing, and then back to calcium D3. So it just keeps going in that cycle. And all I do to feed her is I'll just put about 8 to 12 mealworms in her dish at about 6 to 7 o'clock on an evening, and then I'll wait all the way until about, well, when I get up usually for school in the morning, which is about 7 o'clock, and then I'll empty all the dish out, whatever's been left. I'll clean this dish out completely, so there's no dust or anything left in there, and then it'll be an empty bowl for the rest of the day, and then I'll fill it back up at 7 o'clock on the evening. Now what this allows her to do is, that's a very natural cycle for her, as they are crepuscular. I'll put the word up on screen, and it's a very, despite common knowledge, they are actually crepuscular, I think that's how you pronounce it, which means they're out at dawn and dusk, and they're not actually nocturnal. So by me putting them out at 7 and taking them away at 7, it's doing a nice cycle for her, where she can come out and hunt at the evening, and the food will still be there at dawn. So that's what I'm doing with her, and she tends to be eating a lot. I mean, I only put about 10 mealworms in her bowl about 2 hours ago, and most of them are gone. She's got 3 left, and she currently has multivitamins in there. And then I just have a water bowl with about half a centimetre of water in there, and just normal calcium in there. Now last, we're going to be talking about heating an enclosure. Okay, so to heat this enclosure, I am using a heat mat on a thermostat. Now I currently have her enclosure set to 91 degrees Fahrenheit, which I do believe is about 93 degrees Celsius, 32 degrees Celsius. So if I just take a temperature reading here, what's it going on? So it's 92.3 degrees at the moment, so it's pretty much perfect. Leopard geckos can range from about 89 to about 95, and this does fluctuate a bit, so if I take another one from a different part of the hotspot, so here, 91, if I take it from over here, 88. But the point is, it's the general temperature that you're wanting. The thermostat I am currently using for this setup is the Swell's own thermostat, which you've probably seen in many other videos. And I've just got her probe in here, and that's all her setup is for heating. Now, the last thing I would want to talk about with leopard geckos is UVB. This enclosure doesn't have any UVB, but her vivarium hopefully will, to some degree. Now, loads of people say leopard geckos don't need UVB. There's no point having it, it's absolutely pointless. And as you can see, a little face there. But in actual fact, it is the complete opposite of that. And leopard geckos can benefit from UVB. Now, there are certain types of leopard gecko, like albinos, that can be very sensitive to UVB. So if you are going to use a UVB with an albino, make sure you use a very low percentage and angle it. Instead of angling it straight down, maybe try angling it upwards or towards a corner, just so that it's not very direct. And but if you don't have an albino, they can really benefit from it, and you can use a high percentage, but they are still sensitive. Now, back to heating. So one thing that I forgot to mention is that belly heat is best for them. It's not the only way you can do it. You can use a bulb if you really want to. However, substrate and heating element go hand in hand with this. If you're going to use an overhead form of heating, you need to use a substrate that absorbs heat. Because leopard geckos have very sensitive belly skin for this reason, as it allows them to absorb belly heat much better than the skin on their top of them. So this is why if you're using an overhead lamp or a ceramic heater, the substrate you're using has to be able to absorb heat. So a substrate like paper, for example, wouldn't be very good with a ball because it doesn't hold heat very well. Neither would sand, but something like slate definitely would. Or something like this kind of rock would definitely absorb heat brilliantly. So just keep that in mind when choosing how you're going to heat your enclosure. One last thing as well is, like I said at the start, I have a moist hide, and this just aids when shedding. She can go in there and help get all the skin off. So I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, please leave a like and share this video if you want to on any social medias. I hope you have enjoyed it. So please leave a like and subscribe, and it's been JFSim Exotics.